Alright, here we are. Another match. We're on Honeycomb. 3K 4v4, Team 1 ANS, Team 2 OSP. Got a lot of the nerds on today. Cool Dude, Mungo Parker, and Mechanon on Team 1. They're joined by Tuxu. And then Team 2, we got Forlorn Explorer, Dramus, and Forlorn Soul, Internet Explorer, Dramus, and Kong Sucker on Team 2. Amazing names, amazing names. I'm also joined on Team Caster by Beef,
Hello.
who has been fantastic to have on.
Did I tell you how much I love Honeycomb?
You have not?
I love this map so much.
Why is that?
It's just so cool looking, and there's so many good spots, and there's lots of rocks to hide, lots of little rocks to go through, and I feel like it's really well balanced for the point position and the angles on the map. And it's just a good looking map. I really enjoy Honeycomb.
Very cool. A lot of people don't, I think, because it is kind of a tricky map, since it is so closed off with all the cover. But I'm glad to see this map getting some love. I agree that it's a really good map. Alright, we're here with the ANS team. Cool Dude bringing out the battleship. Again, not deterred at all by the last map. Although he has changed it up a little bit. It's pure 450s and tons of stonewalls and defenders now. Oh, no. This was what he brought last time, I think. Yeah, it was the other guy that brought the missiles on top. It's got a E-War Reigns. Hang up some blankets. Mechanot's got a gun Axford. 450s, good point defense. No stone walls, but rebounds instead. Presumably making money room for the destroyers. 2 rail destroyers, not beams. With a couple of Pinards on them and blankets and hang-ups. No point defense. Extremely risky. Oh my. These things might just get missiled out of the sky.
I think one too many Pinards.
Yeah, I agree with that. Mungo Parker also has a rail ship, and then a pair of fighting voxels, you know, some 450 or 250s, and then a chaff on the backpack. And a little E-War Reigns with a blanket and a hang-up. Nice. Tusku also with fighting voxels, but on the backpack is a size 3 launcher. Very cool. 2 sets of hybrid 3s on that. A little... Oh, interesting. A gun, like a close escort destroyer with a Mark 1 on the spinal, full of just chaffs and flares and decoys.
You wanted more guns.
Yeah, I guess so. Just 2 guns and then a bunch of defenders. Forlorn Soul with only 2 ships here. 1 missile bulker filled to the brim. 171 missiles. And
a lot.
Yeah. Oh yes. Oh yes. I can't wait to see what that does. And then a support cell with 250s and bastions on it. Provide a little meat so he's not pure backline.
Oh, what is this? Why would he do that? He took the pinpoint over the bullseye.
The enemy is securing zone.
Oh, he did. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know about that choice.
I mean, you got it. I would use it, but I mean, maybe points. I don't know how much the Pinard is versus the bullseye. I know the bullseye is 55 points.
I think the pinpoint's 40 or 45, which like I think that's super worth. Drop a few of those missiles.
Yeah. I like the spotlight though. It'll come in handy.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, what else we got?
Internet Explorer with the revolver team and the Alamo. And then his little grazer tug, it's 450 solo. And
I've seen this
scout.
build of his.
Yeah.
And I'm still wondering how he affords everything.
Yeah, I don't know either. I think that's what everybody asks, is how do you actually squeeze the money on that? But I think he's just relying on those 250 cannons being dirt cheap. I mean, it's only 15 points for one C-53. A lot of Auroras, and the Grazers are fairly cheap too. And We got Dramus with mass drivers that are already firing at this guy that's storing back here from Econaut, which has I mean it's taking good damage. Oh my, right into that bottom turret.
Tickled. He needs to find some cover, and he's not near any cover.
Nope. Right out in the open. It looks like he's burning to be more in the open. Surprised he's not trying to get behind this nearby rock.
What an interesting monitor that he's shooting at.
Yeah. A couple container launchers here and a CP3 in the nose. Unfortunately, those container launchers just decoys. So I'm not going to have any firepower to help here. Well, he might be able to get behind this rock and then throw something out and confuse the heck out of the enemy team. I don't know. We'll see.
Not with Team Voxel overhead. Oh no.
Oh my. Yeah, oh man, this match is getting started off very quickly. Fox is firing.
One of the shuttles are out.
Yeah, and I think this monitor is gonna die too. Alright, Dramus, maybe gone through your fleet. Mass driver, sport tug with Bloodhound and some missile launchers, although it looks like it's gonna be killed by the Voxels very shortly as well. So it's got a monitor with an EWR on it with some Pavis, but that's kind of out in the open and could also be killed by the Voxels. It's not moving at all either. It's got a rocket launcher tug, or a shuttle with a pinpoint on it over here, capping Echo and then moving down towards the middle. One shuttle that went for C got killed, and then another shuttle that stayed behind Cat B and is moving to lie in ambush. Kong Sucker.
On these tugs.
Yes, hybrid threes.
Easily get through.
Oh yeah, that's gonna do a lot of damage. Conksucker, we're gonna look at these while we go through these other ships. Conksucker with 450 cannons, stone walls on his Ocella. Interesting. Not taking anti-hybrid tools.
Conksucker.
Yeah, and then a bunch of what is this? A bunch of shuttles with. Oh, this dude's trolling hard. I mean, it's not surprising considering his name. But he's got a rocket launcher 18, and then a very small amount of maybe offensive, maybe defensive S1s across one VLS 46 and one VLS 23. It hasn't filled up either of them. Hasn't even gotten close to filling up either of them. So I'm not sure why you'd put both of those on there. Very odd. Very confusing.
It's a bold move they're gotten.
Yeah.
These mass drivers doing some work, but
Man,
they are
might not be for long.
Yeah, they are getting looked at by these voxels going.
Yeah, AMM's struggling to catch these out. I don't think the Pavises are going to be able to handle these either. And the Flak's not either yet. 2 hits, 2 go down, but strike that middle enough, that'll be in big trouble.
Looks like one of the rail DDs has got eyes on him too, and he's firing. That's good. Some good value out of him. Just keep him firing all game.
I think the rail DD was actually firing at the EWR tug. Or monitor. One of the other ones is firing at the Ocella. So I messed up, and there are like 3 of them floating around actually. That's right, there are several. So never mind. Continue.
One of the voxels is out so fast by the 450 fire.
Oh man. Oh yeah, with 2 Ocellos and a Bulker looking at it, and the mass drivers coming in.
That hurts, losing that voxel.
Yes, indeed. These AMMs crack me up, dude. Coming in from so far away, but they just can't quite catch the hybrids. Bonk. CIC down, but he's got to restore. Meanwhile, the bulk of the OSP team is over here on Delta and rotating around the map. ANS is primarily on top of the map, which could be very advantageous if they can use these thin, wide rocks for cover. Short, wide, maybe. It's hard terming things in 3D space. It really is.
Yeah. Oh, it is. The BB is capping Echo. I don't. Again, you want your BB pushed up so you can start getting value off your fire or your damage, but he's just so far out of the main fleet.
Yeah, you really don't want this thing on cap duty.
Yeah, it's the last thing you literally want on cap duty.
The enemy is securing zone
Rockets going after this support
Ooh.
range.
He
Only one
needs
landing. Guessing the jamming helps reduce sensor accuracy.
The enemy secured zone Eclipse.
I don't know what's going on over here. We have a bunch of voxels firing into space. They think something's over there. They were also throwing jamming in that direction as well. I'm not sure what that's about. Are they gonna fire another volley? No.
They probably saw a lob out there and just redirected. We
Yeah.
lost track of it.
Yeah, that's right. There are a lot of single Pinard ships on this team.
That's the problem with the Penards is that you'll get lobs from their perspective and show it on the other team or on your team somewhere else, and it's completely inaccurate.
Shells that went to Cat, paying for it. But it will get the OSP ahead on caps and on score. And some good scouting too in the back line. Bulk of the OSP fleet is actually pulled off of Delta. Look to be heading up top to swat at those voxels some, and swat they will with all the 450s and 250 barrels on this team.
Yeah, that's a great play for them to go up top, meet the NS team, force them back down, and wait for that BB to come into range so they can start dumping it. But
It's going to be a long time before this battleship's contributing.
he's shooting at a already dead monitor. Somebody forgot to mark it dead. Don't you hate that?
Yep. Well, a lot of people, a lot of newer players, and we have some of those in this lobby, don't know that things that are dead have to be marked as dead. They think it happens automatically because they're playing with people who are good and who mark things as dead. I
Funny
know.
Story. I had someone say that one time. They go, "Wait, you're marking them dead?" And I go, "Yeah, dude." He's like, "Oh, it just happened."
Yep. I had the exact same experience when I was starting out the game. It's just like, oh, sometimes things get automatically marked as dead, and I guess some things have to be manually marked as dead if they're not really dead. But no, players have to do that, and it's only players. I don't think anything gets auto marked as dead.
No, unless it turns into space dust and you can't click on it.
Yeah.
Then you really know it's dead. Voxels came back across to Charlie, making it past that gap and throwing some fire down on the solo. Not too much though,
Man,
just touching him.
look at the return fire.
Yeah, that return fire is not worth that trade. Like, no.
Yo.
You know,
Yeah.
Foxhole already lost all its rear thrusters almost, except for one, and that hurts because you're not going to use those restores for your main engines.
Nope. No, we're not. I mean, you should definitely. I think it would be a good idea to restore one of them. Oh, and he is actually.
Yeah,
So you
no,
just
I
have
would
to have
definitely
it. But
have
man,
that mobility.
yeah, Voxel's plus one battleship would be super strong against this team because the Voxels could like do high maneuverability stuff and get into blind spots and shoot things while the battleship is taking the brunt of the fire. But
Oh, I was going to say the DD is taking fire, but the DD is dead.
yeah, immediately dead.
I couldn't say it fast enough before he was dead.
Even with this reinforced CIC, there's just such a huge volume at 250 fire.
This rotating, this monstrosity, I love it.
It's a menace.
It is so good. And look at it just roll around. Love it. This is probably one of the most goofiest things OSP has to offer, and it works so well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm super happy with it. I tried to make the shoot and spin style work, but where you put all guns on the broadsides, and it kind of doesn't. It just takes too long to do a full flip. But this thing works so well.
So OSP, they got the cap lead. ANS is trying to regroup, it looks like. Axford and BB meeting up in the middle. But the Voxels, they're pushing, and I don't think that's what you want to do right now.
No, they needed to definitely have backed off earlier and just waited for the battleships to get here.
Yeah, he's gonna get spotted even with the jamming and the hang up. He's not gonna be able to outjam all these ships.
Now, I think actually what's causing them to push like this is this one mass driver ship overlooking everything, saying basically, hey, you have to get something done or just completely hide. And up top, there's no good way to completely hide from the OSP spawn. So they have to get something done or just be taking tons of mass driver fire for free.
Yeah, and there comes the mass drivers in now. The revolvers start to look at him. There it
It's
goes.
firing.
You get 5 restores, a lot of restores on the Voxel, but right now down to 3, hasn't even done anything yet. Yeah, that's
Whole lot of damage.
not what you want to do. You don't want to pop out in front of the entire team like that. This Corvette taking damage now from the revolver.
Oh, man. It's funny, 250 actually doesn't do that much to the Sprinter because it's all punched through. But the sheer volume of it will add up eventually.
The enemy is securing zone common.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you, cool dude, for spotting that. A huge volume of missiles going into one of these backside railguns, just killing it straight out. Stormfront.
Secured zone Atlas.
Doesn't have any PD. Got all this E-War that's not really going to be helpful way at the back anyways.
Yeah, he can tell it's somewhat of a new player because those rail DDs did not need all that E-War or a bullseye, to be honest. Like, you should have those so far back.
Yep. Yeah, it's
And, yeah.
Mechanaut, and he's a pretty new player.
Which is okay. We live and learn. Yeah, I'm sure he'll go back to the drawing board with those maybe and add some PD so that doesn't reoccur again for free.
For sure. I mean, the best way to learn how to play this game is to get your things blown up by whatever you weren't anticipating. And then you go, oh, I actually need to worry about those.
Ocello breaking up from the bottom, coming up top to get some shots on these voxels up here, trying to hide and patch up.
That's a really good play.
And they're returning fire, but I mean, one voxel who's pretty hurt with one that's, doesn't have full mobility is not gonna cut it against the Ocello.
Especially if he can get rotated to where he's taking good angling on those shots.
But he's not. He's taking them into his drive. He already lost his sun drive.
Oh boy.
Which that is a glass anyways. It's not very sturdy, but it is nice to have.
Yeah, it can be. I think the play though, since the solos are usually your frontline ships, is to have like a yard and a whiplash.
Yard, whiplash, great, even better setup.
Although he does have a whiplash in addition to the sun drive. He's bringing no reactor in this cluster at the back. So I guess that explains why he was able to get up here so fast.
Oh, he's got. Oh, damn, he does have a yard drive. Damn, that thing is fast.
Yeah, look at it go.
Yeah, lightning speed.
Just throws it into reverse and immediately going 32.
I like it, honestly. I mean, it doesn't have to. Actually, the solos aren't tanky, so might as well be fast, right?
Yeah. I mean, they can certainly be a little tanky with the bow tanking, but they just don't compare to Axfords or Solomons. So yeah, maybe making them faster might actually pay off, and it has been.
Yeah, he got in cover and he's putting some damage on this other voxel, and he's not able to actually retaliate. He's losing his parallax, antennas, everything's red. That's important. That's no bueno.
No bueno at all. And while all this is going on is giving the rest of the fleet time to get into a good position to deal with the Solomon that's finally getting to the fight.
Oh, is he finally? Oh, he's getting shot at. Start the timer.
Yeah.
Now, OSP didn't bring any plasma.
That's true.
So, I mean, the 450 and the mass drive are going to have to soften them up before the 250 will actually do anything. Major-wise.
Rocket attack going in the scimitar here, but all of it gets cleaned up by the RPF and the defenders.
Oh yeah, look at those defenders go. You're not breaking that.
Yeah, ANS team just doesn't have the raw DPS right now. The tank finally came to the fight, but it's after all the voxels got pretty beat up.
BB's armor starting to get stripped now on one side.
Yeah, those mass driver shots are really going to start adding up. Trying to turn it to start battle tanking. Oh, Axford zooming in real fast. At a whopping 16 MS. Trying to take point, cover for the battleship a little bit. Ooh, the battleship needs to be covering for you, dog. I think this ship right here is definitely the highest priority, the revolver. Looks like the ANS team recognizes that and they're firing at it, but it's heading to cover.
Yeah, he'll be able to easily get down behind that rock, repair anything. He's got 8 restores. He's fine.
Sure. Meanwhile, while they're orienting on that, the mass driver team and the 450 Ocello just hammering the Axford and the Solomon.
Looks like the fire switched up to the Axford, which is smart on OSP. You know, if he's going to push out, he's got less armor. Oh, Voxel coming down, though. Voxel's like, hey, I'm here to help. Except the revolver saw that.
Yeah, and the revolver's got cover from the Solomon and the Axford, but he can shoot at the Voxel.
Or the Voxel's like, I regret this.
Yeah, Balon. It's also got roasted from that drive explosion earlier. I didn't say it, but I showed it on screen. We were talking about something else.
Oh, he is roasted. That's just going to let that 250 just tear through everything.
Okay, he's been getting a few pings, but
Well, here it comes. See what happens.
here's another round. Oh my, look at all those hits.
Couple good hits.
Main drive's
Might
being
be
taken offline again. Main
Almost out of
engine
range of that fire. No, that's still coming in pretty heavy. Now, ANS has got a great firing line set up, though. It's just, no, I don't think that they have enough guns. They don't have enough damage to dwindle down these these Ocellos and hit them and
Not with,
not with these missiles coming in now.
with the voxels being dead. If all these voxels were alive, I think this fleet would just hard kill the entire OSP team. But they're too strung out.
Missiles going out. Looks like they're going for the BB. Where is your god now? The god is Flak.
Yeah, but not enough of it. Oh, only one gets through. There's two. So yeah, the god is Flak. Goodness. And then while all this has been going on the rest of the map, a couple shuttles at Kong and Dramus have been capping everything. So the ANS is all concentrated up here on Charlie now. Which they kind of need that to actually fight this, but they just lose the objective game. Because the battleship was doing the flanking, and the fast ships, the light ships, were doing the line fighting. And you really want to flip that.
The other Ocello popped back out. He's like, hey, look at me. I'm going to shoot you.
It's also got his bow pointed forwards, so that 250 fire is not going to be doing very much. Damaging, birthing, damage control center, and gun plotting center. Not a big deal at all.
Do not need any of that. Burn it all. He's got two back. Well, he had two backup bullseye, which was really cool to see. Honestly, I love the double bullseye. Might as well bring it, but he's lost both. Kind of sucks.
His whole team trying to get behind this rock and then fight the Ocello on its own, but they don't realize that this is the fastest Ocello in the West. It's taking a bad engage. You can just dip down behind cover right here.
He's like, I'll see you guys later. Well, as soon as you're done shooting at me.
Yeah, the second you're in another bad position for me to show up on the flank, here I am. Freaking genius. Good plays, good plays.
BB finally caught up with the rest of the fleet. It's like, let me take lead or point, and the fleet is like, we are very hurt.
It's kind of late for you to be here, dog.
Where were you? I was capping Echo.
Yeah, which was immediately uncapped by a shuttle. Because that's what they do. Yeah, I've seen, I don't know if it's just Honeycomb or what, but I've actually seen a ton of battleships. I don't know how many of these games have actually been recorded, but I've seen a ton of battleships just go Echo and then loop around Echo to the OSP spawn or to Bravo. It's like,
So
what do
I
you...
think a lot of people think this is a small map. They're like, oh, it's like a Pillars looking size map, right? But when you really get on it and you realize where the points are, it kind of feels like Nix's Eye. Where
Yeah.
if you go for the back, your natural, you're gonna take a long time to even get in position to fire on anybody because they're so far away.
Yeah, the map's about 15 kilometers wide, which, I mean, is Pillars sized, but I think all the cover is what makes it feel so much larger, because Nix's Eye is large just because of the raw space involved, but unlike Pillars, you can't shoot at everything from everywhere. Like, all the points on Pillars look at each other, except for
Yeah.
Charlie and Bravo.
And these points, they just really, you can see Charlie, you can kind of see Bravo from Echo, but that's about it. I mean, there's so much cover where the other team can just hide behind it, and it forces you to move.
Yep.
And that movement takes time, and if your team is actually under fire, you're losing. You're losing components, modules, armor, and slowly getting dwindled down. And OSP is just like, okay, we're just gonna sit back and take the easy W. Thank you for playing.
Yeah.
We'll just cap behind you guys when you move. This DD on actually Alpha has been doing a lot of work, cleaning up shuttles, capping. They just need 10 more of them. I
Yeah,
think.
the gun and rail destroyer. Just doing good work in the back line. Pretty cool to see. I agree.
I think as an ANS player a lot too, it's hard because you have so many cool ships to bring. You know, your Axford and your Vauxhall, even your DDs, of course the BB. But you want to bring those, and you look at your vet, your sprinter, and you're like, I don't want to bring a bunch of these. These are useless.
Yeah.
And then time after time again, it's like, what are you gonna use to cap?
Yep. I
And
know
OSP's like
that
the shuttle.
feeling.
Shuttle's amazing. They love their shuttles. They realize they can bring out these big bulkers and a couple shuttles and do really well and win. Oh, BB taking a missile dump. His flak is not there for him. Well,
There goes the battleship.
GG. Game's pretty much done. He's
Yeah, that's the correct response to that. I think this match has been a perfect example of why your battleship needs to stay with the team, like in the middle of the team, not pushed up like this, because you'll get missiled if you don't have your full PD net ready and you don't have help from the team. Not way out on the flanking capping, but right in the middle of your Vauxhalls and your Axfords during a big push.
and also the team needs to realize that they have a BB and he is anchor and play around him.
Yes,
And I mean, it takes
it's a
two to
two-way
tango.
street. Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely, no question. See, look at how little damage the battleship dealt just because it wasn't able to shoot much.
No, he really didn't get much time to shoot at all. Axford did a little bit better than him, but same story. I think he was off trying to cap or just trying to move him to a flank. And
Yeah, those are not your flanker tools. You really got to be using whiplash destroyers or sprinters. That's kind of it. Or Voxels, actually, yeah. But a lot of time you want the Voxels to hang out with the Solomon so that they can both fight together.
to hang out with the Solomon, to flank, just to have in reserve to cap. You know, you didn't bring a lot of sprinters. Well, that's okay. Your Vauxhall can get there in a decent amount of time, as long as they have their thrusters. So
Right.
you can't take damage that much.
The Voxels will also pretty hard counter any backcapping shuttles. Voxel dumps a couple volleys of 250 RPF into those shuttles. They're just dead.
Yeah, they lose their exterior mounts really fast, and you can't shoot the rockets. And you're pretty much you're toasted, dude.
Oh, yes.
Fly away. But even the rocket shuttles, not a lot of damage on them. But I mean, if you could see caps, they did a lot of work in the back line.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Absolutely.
being there, capping, and letting your team win. Essentially, they didn't have to win the gunfight.
Yeah, all I really had to do was keep attention and keep the ANS pinned while all the shuttles do all the capping.
ANS is, I'm sorry, OSP's Internet Explorer pulling off crazy numbers with that revolver. Every time my mouth drops when I see that thing.
Yeah. It owns, dude. It owns.
I'm like,
So
it looks so bad, but it's so good. I'm like, what?
good.
Why does this work?
For sure. Yeah, I think moving forward, ANS players are going to have to realize that they need more mobility. Because you just have the map controls the OSP with the cheaper ship holes. And it's actually played a match with Dragon earlier today, and that's how we beat him. By just having map control. Spreading way the fuck out and keeping his ships pinned behind a rock. He had more firepower and he killed anything that got near him, but you just spread out, it doesn't matter. It's a good game. Real good game. Thanks for joining me once again, Beef.
Thanks for having me.
And we, yeah, that's it. I got a Discord link down in the description if you want to get notified when I'm doing this. A lot of the people in that match and in the last match were part of that Discord. They're in voice chat and they're talking and working together well. I think it really dramatically increases the quality of games that we get. I will see you in the battle space.